At this point, I've pretty much decorated like every single apartment in The Sims 4 multiple times because we're getting kind of desperate for some new ones. But there's a few that I've done less often, I guess either because I actively dislike them or I just kind of forget they exist. And I feel like these apartments in Evergreen Harbor kind of fall into that forget they exist category. Whenever I want to decorate an apartment in this world, I usually go for either of these instead. I don't know why, but I just kind of don't think about this one. But it's actually a pretty good apartment. It sort of like ticks all the boxes for the things that I like about the San Myshuno ones, and it doesn't have any of the things that I dislike about them. For example, it's like not too huge, it's got a reasonable wall height, which you can't really say for a lot of the ones in San Myshuno. And so today I think I want to try and renovate this apartment, but try and make it into maybe more of a family apartment instead of just like a giant one bedroom. So let's just get started, shall we? Now obviously I started off by deleting everything that was already there. I wanted more of a blank slate with this, and my main priority was to fit in more bedrooms into this house because originally it was a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, and I managed to make it a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom. We got way more space out of this version. I feel like the original one had a lot of underutilized space. Like it had that giant bedroom in the back that could have very easily been split into 2 bedrooms. I always kind of wonder about the Sims team's intentions with that kind of thing because like so often they could so easily have like different layouts that seem like they would make a lot more sense. But I guess maybe like they're trying to tell a story or give like more options for starter homes, so they wanted to have like a 1-bedroom option for players that are just coming in to play with the pack. And I guess it is like pretty easy to adjust it on your own if you're playing in the apartment, but like come on, you could have had an office or something. Like it just, I feel like it makes way more sense to have more rooms, but whatever. In our version I managed to fit a parent's bedroom, a kid's bedroom, and a toddler bedroom. We also have a really big bathroom in this apartment, like bigger than I normally would do for a Sims build. I kind of considered splitting this into like 2 bathrooms and making it have an ensuite and a hall bathroom, but I figured it was more fun to have like just one big bathroom and have a nice bathtub. I put laundry in there, and I really tried to make it very colorful. My whole goal with this entire place was to make it like really bright and really cozy inside. I think I was partially compensating for there being like very few windows in here, but also it's just kind of fun to build like a brightly colored family space sometimes. So I did this like bright green tile in the bathroom that I normally wouldn't use, but I think kind of works here. And you'll see in the main living space, I have a lot of like really brightly colored kitchen cabinets and some fun rugs and stuff. Speaking of that window problem for a second though, one of the main issues with like doing any apartment in The Sims is the lack of windows, especially in this one. It sucks because you can't edit it or like add any windows to it. So obviously you're kind of stuck a little bit with like where the windows are when it comes to making a new floor plan, because I don't really want to have a bedroom that has 0 windows in it. And it really stinks because in that back right corner, the toddler bedroom, there's 2 huge windows, and then the room in the back left corner has 1 little tiny square window. And it's just like, I wish that I could, you know, split them or like share them a little bit better, but we're kind of just stuck with what we have. I guess one kind of cool thing about this particular apartment is that in Eco Lifestyle, you can like update the apartments. It's sort of like part of a gameplay feature. You can vote in the neighborhood to like improve the space, and then it like renovates the apartments basically and makes them like way fancier. I don't really like the updated version of this building though. I think it's kind of weird, and I find some of the windows kind of odd as well. It's also not quite as like quaint, I want to say, so I intentionally chose to not update this one when building it. Obviously, I'm aware that you can. I just didn't feel like it worked for what I wanted. I kind of just wanted to have like a version that worked in the default apartment of this space. The new version is kind of nice though. It has like a way bigger front door, and it's got like some bigger, more modern windows. They're kind of a weird color. They're like sort of orangey, which kind of throws off the color scheme a little, but that is a cool feature of the pack if you haven't played it yet. Now, I had a lot of fun with the furnishing of this space because I really tried to use a lot of furniture that I don't use all that often. I know I say that as I'm like placing these yellow cabinets that I use all the time. Those cabinets are like my favorite ones in the entire game, especially in that swatch. That Dream Home Decorator yellow cabinet is like my favorite thing they have ever added. But for example, on that dining table, I always forget about those chairs. Those are some like unlockable chairs from City Living. You can actually buy them from the flea market sometimes. And it's this cute little painted wooden chair, and there's I think 3 swatches. I used 2 of them them here. I kind of like alternated the blue and the green. I was sort of trying to use the rug in here as the inspiration and like go off of that for the whole color scheme, which, you know, that rug is also probably one of my favorite things they ever added. There's something about Dream Home Decorator that just is so good. That rug and those cabinets are like my favorite things literally ever. I mostly use that rug in kids' bedrooms though, so it was kind of fun to use it here in this living room space and kind of have it be like the main inspiration for the color scheme. I did really struggle with the living room layout a little bit, especially because I wanted to have the TV be on that wall, like across from the couch, but there was that tiny window there, and I didn't want to like block the tiny window because again, there's like no windows in here, so I wanted to use like every window I could get, but it was kind of hard to figure out, like, did I want to have a little TV in the corner? Did I want to have a big TV? I shouldn't hang it on the wall because then it's too high. So I tried a lot of different options. I was actually building this on my Twitch channel, and everybody in my chat was like, try and put it in the corner, try and put it in the corner, and I couldn't make it work. There's something about putting the TV in the corner that just never works for me. Every time I try it, I just don't like how it looks. There's so many spaces where I feel like it would work or it should work, but I've never personally succeeded at doing it. It doesn't help that this is an apartment and I like actually couldn't move the window, because if I could move it over a little bit, it might have been better or something. But instead, I tried to make like a little bit of built-ins. I used some built-in bookshelves and put the TV there on the bottom, and I think that worked pretty well. And this way I could add in like some clutter and little decor items and stuff into that wall. Also, you might have noticed me painting the wall just then and how it deleted the clutter I had above the fridge. I do not understand this. There are so many weird glitches in The Sims. Like, you know when you place like, I don't know, a bathroom wallpaper and then all of a sudden it deletes the kitchen clutter that you had? Like, hello? What is the correlation there? I feel like I've noticed it happens more often with half walls, specifically like when you paint half walls, it glitches clutter items that you've placed, but I really don't understand why. But it's really annoying to have to like redo it multiple times as you're painting the house, especially for me because I always paint the walls last, which is probably foolish of me, but like I always go in and do the wallpaper last, mostly because I'm never really sure what I want the wallpaper to look like, so I kind of just avoid doing it for as long as possible, and then, you know, I finally do it and it deletes my clutter objects, but whatever. I mentioned how I built this originally on Twitch, and I'm gonna do a little tiny plug because I do a lot of building on my Twitch channel. Like, I build probably like half the time. I play mostly The Sims over there too. So if you want to come by and hang out, my channel is linked down below. It's just twitch.tv/lilsimsie. I've been really proud of my builds recently. I feel like I've done a lot of kind of cool things. I haven't posted them all on YouTube yet because I'm not just gonna like spam flood them in your sub feeds, but I've got a few ones that I really like. In particular, I have this penthouse that I built that I'm gonna post soon that I'm really proud of. But if you like watching the build videos on YouTube, you might enjoy watching it live because then you can, you know, give me advice about like trying to put the TV in the corner, or I don't know, like what color chair I should use. It's kind of fun. There's something different about watching things live that's like really cool. Although it does take me a lot longer. Like this will be like a 20-minute video, but maybe a few hours instead on Twitch. Oh my god. When I was cutting down the speed build of the penthouse I just mentioned, I was watching it back and there was like a solid 4 minutes sped up of me just trying to pick a plant. Obviously, I cut it out of the video because that is ridiculous. 4 minutes of me just like looking at all the different plants. In real life, that would have been like 20 minutes. 20 minutes on stream of just like looking through plants. I was trying to do this thing where I was like layering a plant into a vase. So I was trying to make like a custom plant basically, and it just wasn't working. So I was trying a lot of different options, but that's ridiculous. 20 minutes of looking at a plant. See, this is the kind of content you're missing out on. Really exciting, riveting Sims content, like plant choosing. So I'm just saying, it's linked down below. Anyway, I think that the bedrooms were probably my favorite part to furnish of this whole house. I guess I had this whole vision of like this parent living here with their 3 kids and they're raising all these toddlers. So I was kind of making up a story in my head and it was kind of fun to decorate the rooms. I also tried to do like a slightly different color scheme than I would usually go for in the bedrooms. I ended up using more orange in this little strawberry room, which is different for me because I kind of hate orange. I've realized this recently. I don't know what it is. I think I just really don't like the color orange. So I was really trying to make it work in here. A lot of my chat hated it, but there's a bunch of orange on the wallpaper. There's like the pink strawberries, there's the orange flowers, and some little teal accents. So I really tried to use all of those things, and I feel like it does work, but you know, admittedly, I do still hate orange. orange. And I think the shade of that orange rug also is maybe not my favorite, but like that's kind of the fun of it, right? Is trying to use things that I don't use all that often because I build so much. I make so many builds. There's so many things that I just never use because I don't like them. It's kind of fun to actually try sometimes. Like this rug, that's from the Industrial Loft Kit. There's something about the texture that I just don't like. So I don't really find myself using it all that often. So I like actively tried to make myself do it to see if I could figure out a way that it would work. Or like a couple days ago, I made a video on YouTube where I tried to build an all white house. Like I only used white furniture literally everywhere. And there's a few little like clutter things that I just kind of forget about that were kind of fun to fit in there. But also it's kind of just a different color scheme. Like it's almost like a challenge to try and make everything white and also have it still look good. If you want to go back and watch that, I posted it a couple days ago, so I can link that down below for you. I guess this apartment is kind of like the exact opposite of that. I was using like every color everywhere. But I did build this apartment first. I built this one a while ago now. Oh gosh. Okay, so this toddler bedroom, this one I really struggled with actually because I really wanted to use that cute wallpaper from Cottage Living. I love this little patterned wallpaper. And then I found that bed. There's like this really cute toddler canopy bed from the Werewolves pack, and I really, really love it. I just kind of find it hard to use. We have 2 canopy beds for toddlers now, and while I love the idea of them, I don't know, it feels like so dramatic when I try and put it in my builds. Like, why does this toddler have a canopy bed? And then when I was trying to put 2 of them, because I wanted to have like twins share this room, the double canopy bed just felt like too much. So I tried to use it, but then I ended up getting rid of it because it felt like a little overboard to me. That probably is one of my favorite beds in the whole game though. I really like it. I love a little cute patchwork pattern on it too. I want to have more like quilty type swatches in The Sims. We have one from Cats and Dogs that is also really adorable. I think just in general, I want to have more bed swatches. Even if they don't give us like more beds, I'd love to just have more swatches. We kind of talked about this, but like I build so often in The Sims and there's only so much furniture, especially like in the base game. And then on top of that, there's only so much furniture that I like. So I find myself using things kind of over and over again. Like this toddler bed, for example, is a really like simple toddler bed, like a wood frame with a nice little blanket. We need more swatches like this. Just like a simple bed with some plain swatches. A white wooden frame with a few variants of color options. If they went back and did like a color update or a swatch update of that bed, that would be a game changer for us, I think. We say this like every time we build though. It's the beds and the couches that need the most swatch updates, I think. I guess because they're like the focal point of a room. Oh god, rugs. Also rugs. I would love to have more rug swatches. But again, they're like the main focal point of a room. And so, especially in the base game, there's only so many swatches on like the base game beds. And a lot of them are kind of not good. A lot of them are kind of ugly. And so I don't really use them that often. There's a couple beds that are just like way too traditional and they kind of have weird patterns. So I just don't go for them all that often. But then we get stuck with like 1 or 2 base game beds and what, like 10 swatches that you can use? Well, we build more than 10 houses, don't we? So anyway, please, Sims team, can we have a swatch update again, please? Just please. I only want like, well, I want a bunch more actually, but it would be it would make a big difference. Anyway, this last bedroom is the primary bedroom, and with this one, I kind of went back and forth on color scheme a lot. I wanted to mix and match some patterns in here. I wanted to have like a patterned bed and a patterned wallpaper, and I wanted to have like a pink color scheme, then I wanted a red color scheme, then I wanted it to be orange, but I ended up switching it to just this blue and orange because that bed actually has like some tiny blue hearts on it, and then it kind of ties in the orange that I used for the chairs, and I feel like this looks really good. Obviously they're complementary colors, so they tend to look good together like this, but I've never used this color scheme for a bedroom before, and I always forget how much I love that wallpaper from Paranormal. It's such a good wallpaper. The pattern is so subtle and the swatches are so good, so it was fun to get to use that. And then also that bed, I haven't used that high school years bed all that much. I know I'm complaining about beds right now, but we actually have a lot of beds from the high school pack that I haven't used yet, and that one is really good. Don't worry, I did remember to put a laundry basket in here. I almost forgot to put a hamper anywhere until like the very end, and my chat was like, oh my god, wait. We forgot a hamper. So we did get one in here. We also have a thermostat, and I did put a trash can in the kitchen. So we've got all of our bases covered, and that is the entire apartment. I want to pop back into the game now and show you like a proper tour, and also show you how to download it off the gallery. The apartments are kind of weird because you can't just download them like a regular lot. So if you remember, this is that original apartment. It's the Stone Street Apartments number 4. It's like the right side of this little building. I feel like our version is a much better use of the space. We managed to fit 3 bedrooms in here. Also, I'm noticing that our bathroom is in the exact same spot as this one, but that's just because there's no windows there. So I wanted to have like a bedroom here because there's a window, bedrooms back here because there's windows, but like the bathroom doesn't need to have a window, you know? Anyway, step 1 to download. bb.move objects on, make sure you do that. And then on the gallery, I called it Cozy Family Apartment. It uses a ridiculous amount of packs. For that, I am very, very sorry. And it's uploaded as a room instead of a lot because you can't post apartments on the gallery. So you can just download this and then it's gonna place like a room. You're gonna wanna replace it on top of the existing apartment. Oh no. Wait, sorry. Let me just delete this furniture really fast. I would try and bulldoze it, but this kind of breaks it sometimes. But either way, now you can grab it and place it as a room. Make sure you line it up correctly and then just plop it down. You're gonna have to fix a couple things. To upload it as a room, I had to make sure the game thought it was all one room. So I deleted some walls. You can just put those walls back. I deleted them where the doors are to make it easier, and then you can just paint the wallpaper back where it belongs. That goes for any apartment you want to get off the gallery. Pretty much everyone does it the same way. But this, friends, is the finished apartment. So let's kind of show you around. You walk in through the front door right here, and I tried to make like a little bit of an entryway. So we have like a cute little cubby right here with like some bags and keys and like the kids' backpacks and stuff. To the right, we have the living room. I gave them like some snow globe clutter as if they were collecting it or something. And they have this kind of cute like mint couch set. I was pretty excited when I realized that this chair from Laundry Day pretty much matches this couch from the high school pack perfectly. So I used those there. I even had like a pink accent wall back here. And then we have the dining room and kitchen space. We have this little dining table that kind of was the inspiration for the whole area. This rug, like I mentioned, was the main idea. I put these little mismatched chairs, and then we have this super cute little yellow kitchen. It's not a huge space, but I tried to make it have some cute decor, like some cookbooks and like some dishes and stuff. Back here at the end of the hallway, I used this cute little art shelf and I put some more clutter on there. And then we have a few bedrooms. So the first one is this little kids room, that like pink and orange one that I did. I tried to make sure I used a lot of like skill building items and stuff in the house. So we have like the science table. I guess I didn't put a fire alarm in here, so hopefully your kids don't catch fire from that. There's like a toy box and stuff. Back here in the back right, we did the little toddler room. And with this, I tried to really embrace the mushroom vibes. So they have like, I guess like a bear and mushroom theme. I used like a Blarfy and this little bear chair. They have some toys and things, but I was very inspired by the mushrooms on the wallpaper and this like kind of blue color. So I used these little mushroom seats, and I feel like these colors kind of work together. I wish that the beds were a slightly different shade, but unfortunately, as we discussed, we don't have that option. And then we have this parents' bedroom back here. This one is way more orange than I would usually go for, but I feel like it came together really well. I also tried to put like really big curtains on this wall to make it seem like the window was bigger, when in reality it's just a tiny little square. I put like a hanging plant and a salt lamp and some more clutter back here. I think this is one of my favorite bedrooms I've done in a while. I just use a lot of things that I never do, and I think it was kind of fun to try out. And then last but not least, we have the bathroom laundry room combo. I think functionally this would actually be really annoying. I've decided that I find laundry really irritating to use in The Sims, but we've got like washer dryer back here. There's a shower. We've got a regular toilet and a toddler toilet. We also have a bathtub and stuff. And I tried to make it seem like people were actually in here and using this room. Like I put like a little rubber duck for the kids, and there's some clutter and stuff by the sink. And that is the entire apartment. This was really fun for me to build. I love doing stuff like this. I think this might be my favorite apartment that I've built in a really long time, so I hope that you liked it. On that note though, I'm gonna end this video right here. So thank you for watching. Have the best rest of your day, and I'm gonna catch you all tomorrow. Okay? Bye everybody. I know you guys think that I build the same thing over and over again, and I definitely have like a style and a comfort zone, but I really have been trying the last few months to build like, you know, cool things, and I've been really proud of them, so I hope that you like it.